This week on Let's Talk Schools, parental involvement is crucial to a student's education, both at home and in school. That's why organizations like the PTA and School Governance Council are so important. We'll tell you how you can get involved. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Schools. I'm Mike Looney, the host of the show, and have the honor of being the superintendent here in Fulton County. Today, we're going to be talking about parent engagement. As I often say, relationships matter, and I fervently believe that our district can only be as good as the partnerships and the engagement of our parents. So today, we have two local experts, moms and leaders in the district. So I'm going to start with Adrienne, if you'll introduce yourself and talk about what you do, where your kids go to school, etc.
Sure. My name's Adrienne Sinkowski. I am chair of SGC at Cogburn Woods Elementary, where my youngest is in 5th grade, and my oldest is a freshman at Cambridge High School.
Well, thank you for being here today. And just so people know, SGC stands for
School Governance
Council,
Yeah.
which essentially operates as kind of an advisory board.
Yeah.
The school?
Yeah, we work with the principal hand in hand. We typically have some PTO involvement and have someone that represents, and we have teachers. And it's a collaborative effort amongst, the school community to try to figure out ways to make the school better and invest in the school to keep everybody happy. So it's fantastic.
Outstanding. I'm going to dig into that just a little bit more, but I want to introduce your colleague today. Tiffany, is that right?
Yes.
So Tiffany, would you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
I am Tiffany Hoff, and I am mother of twin 8th graders at Haynesbridge Middle School. This year, I'm the VP of Student Engagement with our PTA, our Parent-Teacher Association. And so I have the opportunity to set up a lot of engagement opportunities for the students and then also interact with the parents, admin, and staff.
I vividly remember becoming a principal of a school. And at that time, the school that I became a leader of had very, very low parent engagement. It was a high poverty school, and school was kind of the place on the hill where people didn't feel comfortable going. I know that's not the case here in Fulton. I know that's not the case in your schools. So talk to me a little bit about it and tell our listeners and our viewers how important it is from your lens as an active parent, as an engaged parent. What kind of difference does that make in the success of the school, but more importantly, the success of our students? So maybe I'll start with you.
I love the opportunity to be able to go in the schools. Elementary is particularly special because they're only young for such a small period of time, and then they're kind of finding themselves as they grow up. So I started off in PTO, room parenting every year for my daughter, and then when my son came in, started room parenting for him, and then there was a calling for SGC. I ran for that, and I've been on. This is my last year of SGC, and my son's actually gonna go to middle school next year, so I'm kind of both going out with a bang for.
I suspect you'll end up on the SGC at the middle school
if they'll have me, possibly.
So the School Governance Council really, so in Fulton, we are a charter school district, and one of the things charter school districts do is they believe that parents should have a voice in the decision-making process in the school, including how some of the money is budgeted and spent. Do you think that in Fulton we're doing that in a way that makes parents feel empowered and informed?
We definitely try. The whole reason I got on SGC, quite frankly, I have a COVID kindergartner. So my son, we went out for that, and he was learning to read, and they had money for SGC for high dosage small groups. And that helped my son year over year. And he's been able to get that extra help because any parent, you're always like, I don't know if you do it. You compare one child to another. You're like, wait a minute, you should be further along. So that was really important to me to give back in the way that the SGC prior to me did, and give something back to the school that was as meaningful. And that high dosage small group was invaluable for him especially for ELA and all that.
Right. Tiffany, what about you? Have you found the process of being engaged both through the SGC and the PTO as particularly beneficial for you and your co-parent, your other parents in the district?
So for me, I think parent engagement is crucial. It's a crucial element because not all students spend all of their time at school. We do a great job of providing students with opportunities during school hours. And it's really important that their guardians, their parents, their trusted adults are kind of on board too to really establish a community. And I say that not just as a parent, but also as an educator. So I've also seen, year over year, differences in student success based on how engaged their parents or an older sibling even sometimes are in their education. So I think that goes with not just knowing what's going on with the students within the classroom and within their school day, but also being aware of opportunities that are offered. So through PTA, we offer a lot of outreach opportunities for various topics that parents can, access. But a lot of it is letting them know that they have that access and letting them know that they have that voice, especially in a county like Fulton County.
Right, right. One of the things that I have struggled with is I almost think we're overwhelmed with all the information that's out there. Parents are getting communication from their child's teacher. We have Infinite Campus. We're getting news blasts from the school and from the district. Talk to us about how parents can best sort through all the information that's coming to them, and what role do formal organizations such as SGC or PTO or the schools have in helping filter through all that information? Can you give us any guidance on that, either one of you?
I know for me, so we just finished our reflections program this year and we had increased participation, which to me was a win. And for me, it's kind of filtering out that information. Maybe you have an infographic that just goes on social media. I think that that's a great move that the education departments have made, is having social media opportunities. So it's not just another arduous email that might get skipped over. But I do think it's very important to give the parents and the community and even the educators and admin that information so that we are really truly establishing a community that supports each student.
That's sage advice. And what about you?
My community is texting other parents. If I'm being honest, because there is a lot of information, and once you've been in the school for as long as we have, you get a parent community, and you're like, hey, do they really have a half day Thursday and Friday after exams? So it's stuff like that that's helpful to just kind of level set, and it helps just make you a better parent, because it takes a village, as we all know. And sometimes you're just overwhelmed and you just need help from other parents.
Right. Our community is changing. We have students from all geographic locations on the globe, students that are coming to us that don't speak English, that speak some other language. We have some students that haven't had any formal education at all that are coming to us. How do we embrace the diversity, the wonderful diversity that we have in our community from all these different places, and make our families feel welcome in the schools that you represent here today?
One of the things that I love about Cogburn is we do have a really diverse community. A few years ago, we did like a global food day, and we had students from, represent where they were from, and food brings everybody together. So that was great. We have a carnival every year, and that brings the community out, as well as the students and the parents and the families. That's always good. And we have big ridiculous large raffle baskets that we raffle off, but it's fun and it gets everybody out and playing, and you run into neighbors, and the kids are real key because they run into friends, and you end up meeting the parent through that. So anything that we can do to kind of bring the community together, we try to do that, and invite parents to come in and really kind of encourage them to help volunteer. I'm doing a winter party tomorrow for my fifth grader. So I said, hey, come on. I started texting and reached out and grouped me and said, who wants to help? So that's what we try to do at our school.
Awesome. Tiffany?
One feature I've noticed at the end of some of our school communications at Haynesbridge is that Sway actually offers a translation feature, and it's not just, only Spanish. It has quite a few different languages available there. So making sure that parents are aware of that. We also do an international night, and so I really think representations is a part of that. So making sure that the families have a chance to share their cultures and then also see their cultures represented within our schools.
I remember when I was a principal, once again, where we measured engagement by volunteer hours.
Okay.
And as principals, we had these competitions. I'll get more parent volunteers than you. But the truth of it is engagement means so much more than volunteerism. Volunteerism is just a part of the bigger puzzle because some parents honestly just don't have the time
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
volunteer, right? They're working. It's a 2-income family. They're just struggling to get by, and they can't give 3 or 4 hours, once a week or whatever it might be to come to the school. So from your lens, how can parents become engaged if they don't have the time to quote unquote volunteer during the regular school day?
Wow, that's a great question. I work as well, so sometimes it's just hard. Um, it it's a challenge. I mean, we have for SGC, we will have SGC meetings and have other schools, and we actually did ours about a month and a half ago, and it was with other elementary schools. So we all are trying to work through it, and we all have each other's emails and cell phone numbers, and we're like, hey, what have you guys done for that? So admittedly, it is a challenge. I mean, some parents are like, I'm going to give you $50 and donate it to the class fund. And that's all I can do this year. And that's things that don't bother me. And I love that. That's fine. So people find different ways to get involved. It just depends. But I think it's important when they see, you years and years. I've been at Cogburn for 9 years now. I mean, there's some of those kids I've seen from here to taller than me now.
Right.
And it's amazing because they still know me as Ethan's mom, but I'm still, I don't have a anymore mom. Yeah, exactly. But it's fantastic to be able to do that. So
Right. Tiffany, any advice on that topic?
So I do agree. I think that when the volunteers come in and we kind of model that service and so see the effect that it has on the schools, that this of course is very rewarding. However, I do think that it's very important to highlight that it doesn't have to be an overcommitment because we realize that our parents, our guardians are very busy working potentially even more than one job. So it doesn't necessarily always have to come in service hours, but maybe it's, putting together one event. I know for me, as student engagement chair this year, there's a lot of events that fall under that umbrella. So at the start of the year, I made sure to reach out to people to see if, okay, you don't want to take on the whole thing, but can you take on this piece of it? And that way, the workload is kind of distributed because it is important that we don't burn out our volunteers as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I view it as well. Those are really important, but I also view engagement as just communicating.
Right.
Being communicative to your child's teacher, to the school,
Yeah.
to other parents. One of the things I have learned in my career as a superintendent is no news travels faster than the news that happens at a barbershop or a beauty shop. So just being a spokesperson for the district or for the school is a form of engagement, right? Being one of our marketers. We live in a complex, dynamic world where information is flowing so quickly and so fast. And sometimes just being a litmus test for accurate communication is an important part of engagement. Lady, thank you so much for, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, it's wearing this shirt, right? So I leave the school in my school t-shirt and people will stop and communicate to me about the school. So
That's amazing. Well, obviously you're very engaged parents. So thank you for giving us the privilege of serving your children. Thank you for helping lead our school district in the form and fashion that you do. Thank you so much, folks, for watching another episode of Let's Talk Schools. There is a way for you to be engaged in our schooling processes. So whether you have a child in our school or not, whether you want to volunteer or you want to write a check, or you just want to be a spokesperson for the district, spreading the good news, the real truth about what's happening here in Fulton in schools. So I hope that you do get engaged. I look forward to seeing you again on Let's Talk Schools soon. And now let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep this conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools. And as always, thank you for watching.